So I got a small piece of my SummerSlam gear in the mail. Give you a sneak peek. So some special Vikings colored Minnesota boots made. But I gotta surprise my little dude here, so just a second. So we're out and about running some errands today. I find myself in St. Michael, Minnesota, my hometown where I grew up. We are in Burningwood, my neighborhood. The house I grew up in is on the next street over, so I figured we might as well just roll by and reminisce a little bit. I had what I think people think of when they think of the ideal childhood. I was very lucky. I was fortunate. I'm never one to say that I overcome a bunch of struggles in my past, because I didn't. I was so fortunate to have supportive parents. I grew up in this awesome neighborhood where it's where the dream started, man. Backyard wrestling, proper ring in my backyard. It's where I met my wife. I impressed her with my back handsprings in the front yard. She couldn't believe it. There she is. House I grew up in. You can get a small peek into the backyard where I used to throw my first chaos theories and German suplexes, Northern Light suplexes. I taught my wife a Hurricane Rana in that backyard. A lot of memories. So we're rolling up to my old high school, which is now a middle school because this town blew up like never before, and it's huge now. But this is where I went to high school. I'm going to take a walk through my original wrestling room where I grew up practicing and forging my work ethic in my early years. I discovered my love for amateur wrestling here. I discovered my love for videography, cinematography here in school. And I met some of my closest friends who also had obsessions with pro wrestling here. So this building itself had a lot to do with shaping my entire future when I probably didn't even know about it at the time.
Well, how's life treating you?
Life is great. My little dude's wrestling now.
I've seen your parents around at some of the different tournaments.
Yeah. He won NYWA State this year.
Cool.
6 years old. My oldest daughter's wrestling too. So,
Fun.
so here we go. Original St. Michael, Albertville wrestling room. A lot of sweat left in this room right here. Smells exactly like I remember it. You can see the state place winners up here on the wall. If you look at 2003 and 4, I'd see a name you recognize up there. Those were my years. Up here we got the years that we won state. So St. Michael's a prestigious amateur wrestling school. 2004 state champions. That was my senior year, and the bracket is right there on the wall. And then over here is the best part. They list all the individual state champions from St. Michael in the state of Minnesota. I used to love this wall. You used to just bust your ass in this room every single day and stare up at that wall and just envision your name up there. So that was always the goal for everybody. Pretty cool, man. You know, for the most part, it looks pretty untouched. Minus I don't know about the padding on the walls, maybe that changed, but other than that, wow. So my kids actually did start wrestling practice here. My daughter Briella, who's still wrestling now, she had her first wrestling practices here as well, which was cool to watch. And now they practice in Wayzata, where I wrestled club wrestling, freestyle and Greco-Roman for high flyers. So the only 2 practice rooms they've ever wrestled in were the 2 practice rooms I wrestled in, which is nuts. I didn't plan it, I promise you. I'm not trying to force them into this sport. I mean, just running these hallways, trying to win a state championship and visualizing the whole time. I mean, I met my wife here in these hallways. Crazy, man. Important building. important building to my life. I'm a bit of a sentimental guy. I mean, I'm not walking through here on a weekly basis remembering this stuff, but it's kind of nice to do it once in a while and remember where you came from. I think that's important. All right, let's get some coffee. We're meeting my best friend, Cole Schrupp, from childhood today. He's been there throughout the entire journey. We live right up the road from each other now, so now our kids are playing together. It's been a lifelong friendship. Overall, just an incredible human being that's been there for me from the very beginning. So I think Pope and Knock are gonna come. I texted Bezic. He
Nice.
has the weekend off, he said, so he's gonna try to come.
Drive down?
Yeah, I'm home for it. Some relics from the past, man. It'll be cool.
I think it started with amateur wrestling, and that's like the introduction. And then I think once we figured out that,
Yeah.
like, you like pro wrestling, I like pro wrestling, like, then it's like off to the races there.
The first time you guys were already doing like a little backyard wrestling on the trampoline in Watertown, and you invited me over then, and I started doing sentons and flips off the trampoline, and you guys were like, "Whoa,
Our
this is
minds
like
were so
next
blown.
level!"
Like, we're like, no way, dude. That's too insane. That's crazy.
And before you know it, my
Flip.
dad's building us like a proper pro wrestling ring in my backyard, and we're like no longer doing the crazy stuff. We're doing like technical, like pro wrestling that we love, that we fell in love with. Like not the everything throwing each other through flaming tables and all that stuff, but like these intricate like chain wrestling and all this stuff that we just fell in love with, dude. It was awesome.
Yeah. It was almost kind of like Sandlot.
Yeah.
To be honest, like
Every day.
It was like Sandlot. These group of kids just get together and like that's what they do. Nobody's keeping score. You're just having fun.
As we were that age where obsessed with pro wrestling, but also at the same time very seriously, heavily into like freestyle and Greco wrestling at High Flyers. I mean, they brought Brock into some practices at High Flyers. I remember when I was 12 years old, and like, you know, at that point he was peaking at like Minnesota Gophers like legend status at that point, you know, so he'd come by and watch us drilling at practice. And remember one time he just looked down and like watched us drill a gut wrench, and he just like said, "Nice defense." And I just looked up like, "Oh man, it was sick."
Dude, so awesome.
You know? We would travel together. Like I remember we went to that tournament, that AAU tournament at the Pontiac Silverdome, and we all drove out there together. And so like, of course, we were at this huge tournament, but to us, it's huge amateur wrestling tournament, but all we cared about was that it was at Pontiac Silverdome where WrestleMania 3 was,
No
where it was
joke.
Hogan and Andre. So like the first thing we did was like get to the floor and reenact Hogan and Andre, like in front of everybody on the floor.
Almost positive we didn't even know that tournament existed.
We did.
Our parents drove us to Topeka, Kansas, like 2 weeks before for the big national tournament that still is like happening today. And some kid from Georgia was like, "Y'all going to AAU Worlds at the Pontiac Silverdome?"
We're like,
And
"What's
like,
that?"
Huh? But it's at the Pontiac Silverdome. And
All I heard
like,
was Silverdome.
we were like, "Excuse me?"
It's great.
And the funny part is that you and my brother both were wrestling for 5th place, and by that time we were like, "Yeah, no, we
did our thing. We
our
did the
thing. Can we
reenact.
go home."
We can get this over with now.
Parents were like, "I guess, yeah." So we just pieced out.
Yep.
I mean, that just goes to show you like what a big part pro wrestling was. Like, it was always at the forefront of the relationships,
Yeah.
for sure. You get to like this point and like you start thinking about like the collective journey that you've had, and it's like, that is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. You know?
I think I'm at a phase in my life where I'm fortunate enough, I realize the gravity of this moment. And we're in this like magic period, I call it right now, this SummerSlam week, where I've experienced it before with the Olympics like we talked about, with even state championships and like nationals. It's like this little ramp up period where the anxiety is like starting to set in. I think I texted you about this last night. There's the stress and anxiety of like the lead up of a week like this. it's something that I want to look back on and say, I remember the week. It didn't just go by like that, like so many have in the past, you know.
It's going to be special, I think, for everyone. I think as we get older, it's all about sharing experiences and moments, and this is for sure going to be one of them. You know, just to be there and see you do it, and you're for sure going to rise to the occasion. Like we've seen you do at those big moments. Like what a special thing for everyone.
Sunday night, baby.
Yes, sir.
We're almost there. Luckily, we can keep things a little bit normal, right? Since we're at home for SummerSlam this week. So we're doing like a regular kind of cookout that I guess we would do on any normal given week, right?
Yeah.
The mom and dad are here. The supporters all the way. We got Christy, my wife, my daughters, my beautiful and then little dude is hiding up there and he just ran away. But you'll see sooner than later. But we got the Traeger, man. It's been loyal to me all these years. Flat Rock too. But tonight we're gonna use the smoker, but do some smash burgers on this guy occasionally. Oh yeah, she's ready. What we're gonna do, which is common for me, is do some meal prep for the road at the same time. So we have a live event this Thursday in Springfield, Illinois. So I will prep my meals now for that trip, which I always do for the road. Kind of give you guys a look at what that looks like. Burgers for the family. My boring chicken's on the way. So depending on the time of year, obviously for like WrestleMania type thing, we try to like get shredded, but can't live that way all the time. I feel like I feel a little more bulletproof and like just stronger in general when I'm obviously eating a little more. So we're like in one of those periods now where performance is more important than the look itself. Like I've got one of the biggest matches in my career coming up. I want to be performing at my highest level. So we're eating right now. We're eating a lot of carbs. We're eating a ton of protein. I keep my fats relatively low, which is why I stick with chicken or whitefish, lean meats and stuff like that. That allows me to eat more carbohydrates and stuff, which training is my favorite thing in the world. I love training. So keeping carbs high lets me do that too, and just makes life more fun, man. And that little girl, Briella,
Yeah.
people might remember her in tears on national television after the Gunther match. You went a little famous for a little bit, didn't you?
Yeah.
She will be accompanying me to the live event this Thursday in Illinois. She's going to fly with me, actually. And hang out, aren't you? Little road trip?
Yeah.
Cool.
What time? I think 6 a.m. flight? Maybe, something like that. So you said you like to wake up early for flights.
I like flights at night.
So I got a small piece of my SummerSlam gear in the mail. Give you a sneak peek. So some special Vikings colored Minnesota boots made for SummerSlam. Now I need to bring these to the live event with me Thursday to break them in, because you never want to be wearing boots for the first time in a match. But I gotta surprise my little dude here, so just a second. So something showed up today, but it has your name on it. You don't usually get packages addressed to you. What is this?
Wait, what do you mean?
This just showed up today. I don't know what it is.
Uh-oh.
What'd you get?
What? What did you get? Huh?
What do you think?
Oh my Those are adorable. Look at those.
You're gonna have to try these on, dude.
You put these things on.
Oh. And then you'll pull from here. And then here. And pull.
They fit? They look awesome. What do you think? You like them? Really, you gotta come sit down, babe. This is every night.
This is
Just finally sit down to dinner, and then they're up and moving like never before.
every night, every meal.
Every time. It's kind of nice to be able to do the normal routine the week of what I guess probably the biggest match of my life. So